Lovely. We will start the first question here. First question coming to us by Anonymous sock handler. Hi, for clothing-based companies, ours is socks specifically, SEO, is there a certain strategy to implementing SEO across different platforms? Shopify is supported by other channels like Amazon and Walmart, so I'm curious about whether or not the way we handle each site should differ from Shopify or not. If so, is there a way to handle changing SEO for many products in this fashion? Thank you. Okay, cool. I'm going to see if I can throw that on camera right quick. But yes, there is a little bit of difference. So I'm going to bring up, if you make a search on Amazon, so let's just talk about this in general. So we have marketplaces like Walmart and Amazon. And then you've got individual owned stores like a Shopify store. And those are two they're very different environments. If you make a search on Amazon, for example, the title of the product will be like 150 characters long. It'll be like, it's huge. And their algorithm internal to Amazon is proprietary. They have best practices, just like Google or a search engine or YouTube, a video search engine, has best practices over there. Those best practices, sometimes they overlap and sometimes they don't. So you'll notice on something like Google, it is very, very streamlined. On something like Amazon, they tend to pack a lot into headlines and stuff. The best thing that you can do is just follow the best practices for the platforms that you're on. So every SEO out there, we don't have any like secret sauce. We don't control the algorithms. We have a little bit of insight into them. We have a lot of testing data that goes into them. But at the end of the day, we are not privileged into the algorithm. I don't think anyone is. They keep that stuff pretty wrapped up. So essentially, we're following the best practices from technology companies and then the platforms themselves. So we rely on some like expert tools like the higher end SEMrush, and we're able to use those tools to actually affect how we're actually performing. So across different platforms, you have to use a slightly different strategies based on what platforms you're on. Depending on how much money and time and effort that you're able to put into them, as well as your competition, you're gonna have to try different things. So yes, is there a certain strategy implementing SEO across different platforms? Yes. The short answer is yes, but it is platform specific. If your store, so like based on your store, based on the industry, so we'll say socks are a commodity. It's a commoditized product. I can buy socks almost anywhere I go. I'm sure yours are very, very good. What competitive advantages they have, what they don't. I need to go take that to a platform that makes sense. So if I'm selling a really high-end sock and it's a dress sock and they're $50 for a pair, probably not the best place for a Walmart, because that's not where people are going for essentially a luxury purchase like that. I might take that somewhere else. But again, I'm following those platform specific recommendations from the people that actually control the algorithm. They're only going to give you so much, and there's only so many things that you can actually do. So like age of your domain name, you can't really change that. You started your business when you started. You don't have a 25-year-old domain. Cool. You have to kind of work within those limitations, but also it's going to be very different between like Google and Amazon. And like it's very apparent. You can find those very, very easily. If I made a Google search in Google, you can go into either your Google Merchant Center and Google Shopping. If you go to Google Shopping and you type in socks, and you go to Amazon, you type in socks, the listings are completely separate. The order, what they're actually calling things. So there is going to be crossover for you, but again, you're going to have it completely different strategies there. The words themselves. So this is going to be a little bit different. The words themselves are going to be what they are, but you're going to have to follow the structure of what the platform will give you. So good question, but yes, you're going to need to. Lemmy, what's happening? It was a good question. That is a very, very good question. I'm going to go back to the next one. This next one's a really, really easy question to answer. Oh, hold on. Is that the next one? we are going to do. Okay. See if I can get this working. Let's see if I can get this working. Oh. There we go. Why can't I get that working? Yeah. Right on. Next question. The next question is called, where is it? URL handle slugs. URL handle slugs. 2 questions about URL handle slugs. Should the protocol in writing them be as it might be in Someone Speaks, or should they all start with the same product type? Birthday card, chocolate cake, birthday card. Our handle still is important. Yes. I've got a very easy thing for you to follow. Okay, this is going to be coming right from the same tool we use. I'm going to throw this in chat for you. Okay, URL handle slugs. I'll put this in as well. URL handle slugs. Cool. That's an SEMrush blog. That is how it should go. So we don't make these up. We just follow, again, the best practices from the technology providers. So I'm just gonna throw this on screen here. URL handle slugs. If you read that, you will find exactly what you should do every single time. Lovely. They may change this. They may change this. So definitely don't. You don't need to like redo all of the slugs that you've actually already done. I would just follow a consistent pattern. Once you've got this pattern down, continue on with it. But this is what I would recommend right from this article. Cool. Yeah, there it is. Concise, relevant, and lowercase. Yeah. Well, yes. Yes. There's usually capitals too, but you can ignore them. Cool. But yes, that's a really straightforward and easy one. I'll put that one in there. So our handle still is an important piece. So yeah, they are. Absolutely. It's one of the easiest ones you can do. Like, just get it right. It's not like you have to come back to it. You get it right the first time. It helps with a whole bunch of things across the store in terms of like how the store is organized. It makes tracking things on the flip side of things easier. So having a good URL structure just makes sense. It makes sense to have that orderly and done the first time rather than trying to come up with that later. If you've got a terrible, this is where things can kind of get messy. If you've done a whole bunch of wrong things and you're making a mess of it, it might take some untangling. But once you have it right, it should be pretty easy to actually keep right. So yeah, that SEMrush article is essentially a perfect walkthrough for how you should actually do your URLs. I won't go into any more about that because it's a pretty in-depth case, but yeah, fairly straightforward. Once you've got that pattern, it's good. They are still important. This stuff does matter. And good question. Next one. Let me go from the cool. Okay. Bot traffic skewing any real analytics. Okay, so many bots consistently add products to my cart and trying to check out or looking for email addresses that my Google Analytics are not accurate for real traffic. Any advice on how to deal with that? Yeah, so there's a few things. So I'm glad that you've got Google Analytics on the site. If you're using Looker Studio, so Looker Studio was purchased by Google more than a few years ago now. It's just their dashboarding tool to bring in a variety of data sources into one place. It's a really good tool. It's free. So if they're all coming from one specific area of, so let's just say they're coming from India or China or wherever the bots are originating from, you can actually exclude that data from what you're looking at. If the bots are coming to you from like a local source, that's where things get a little bit harder. So I would be removing, from a geographic perspective, I would be removing where that traffic is coming from if you've got a whole bunch of traffic from markets that you do not sell into. So the easiest thing is, great, you have a Shopify store, you ship product to let's just say, the lower 48 plus Canada and maybe Mexico. Let's just say it's North America. Cool. I wouldn't be looking at traffic outside of where your selling area is, where you can actually service your staff. If you are looking at data from Europe, if you're looking at data from Australia, and if you're not actively looking at whether or not you should expand into those markets, I wouldn't worry about it. There's zero potential revenue there because you can't sell to them today. If you are selling into those markets and it's very, very small, so let's just say it's like under 3% of your sales, I still wouldn't care. Going, okay, great. I would remove for the geographic regions from that data set to say I'm ignoring traffic from these countries. That takes just a little bit of configuring in your Google Analytics is to like filter that out. It's a little bit easier in terms of Looker Studio as well, where I can just search by country and have that like as almost like a preset. But yes, that would be how I would remove that. There's no way to like make it so a bot can't access the site. Like it's just like right? They're just like any other user, it's just that they're not going to complete the purchase and they're looking for stuff. And there's lots of good bots out there. Google runs good bots every day to actually like crawl sites and do stuff with them. So cool. But I'd be removing that from your actual dashboarding. Yeah, because when they're adding product to cart and everything like that, obviously it's going to make the store look really, really good. Like, wow, look how many ads to carts I've got. But if there's no actual checkouts, I'm taking your word for it that you've actually made sure that these are bots and not something else. So like actually people adding things to cart and then being surprised by like a shipping charge or like a tax or something like that, any kind of misrepresentation. But let's just say they are bots. Yeah, remove where they're coming from the data set. Yes, if the bots are coming from a local source, so let's just say you are doing something and there's a whole bunch of bot traffic that's like local, that's going to require some different work. That requires, there's going to be some stuff where you're actually going to have to like figure out if you can essentially get access to those IPs and say, great, I don't want to track these IPs in terms of my what I'm doing, like actually taking the IP from the address. Yeah, it's a little bit more technical than you might be able to do, but it's probably not coming from a local source anyways, so totally fine. But good question. So that's going to be true for everyone. So when you're looking at that your traffic across your store, you really should only be paying attention to relevant traffic. So like, oh great, look how many views we got, look how many page views we got. Well, if it's not relevant traffic, it's imaginary. And again, unless you're actively looking at where you should make another market expansion into or where you should grow into, daily numbers or like looking at how your social media is performing, you're going to want to look at where you can actually sell. Okay, next question. Oh, we got Cloudflare also has some free tools. Yes. Yep. Cloudflare has some tools for that as well. That's a very good point. So Cloudflare also has some free tools that bring visibility to bot traffic and allows a level of filtering. Yes. Yep. That's very cool. And for the most part, Cloudflare is a pretty good tool, and there's a lot of free features out of it as well. So very small business friendly. Tech, you need to be a little bit more tech savvy to be in that playing around. But yeah, good stuff. Thank you for that. Next question. So SEO and GEO, which is just essentially like great AI. What do we just think? SEO and AI SEO. Cool. How should we be adjusting our SEO strategy to optimize for AI SEO? Essentially, how do I get my brand to appear within AI search? So great. So I'll walk everyone back through this. So for years and years and years, people turned to search engines. So think Yahoo, Google, YouTube, all of the platforms going like, okay, how do I do a thing? And they type in their keywords, they type in their search, and the result is either a video or it's a list of websites or the search engine results pages. And that's how this was actually done for years. So like if you're a millennial, that's what you're very familiar with. And now we've got people turning to AI models for essentially for making searches and within the actual like our organic search as well in terms of like the traditional platform. So like you'll see the AI overview when you're making a Google search as well. So great. How do I get my brand in both places? Cool. So if I was in ChatGPT for one, or if I was in Grok, and I'm going to say, hey, I'm looking for a hotel, or I'm looking for a restaurant. What are the 3 best restaurants that serve shrimp cocktails near me? Cool. There's my search, and I throw either in Google, or I put that in ChatGPT, and it's going to spit back a bunch of answers, and it's going to list where those sources are coming from. So it's going to list those sources back. So you can actually see that in AI. So if you were to actually go into ChatGPT and say, hey, where's the best place to get a shrimp cocktail near me? It'll spit back some results, and it'll have things like your business name. It's going to have things like, it might pull some stuff from your reviews. It's content. At the end of the day, it's content. So you're going to have to say, great, I need good reviews. I'm going to need to have a Google business profile. I'm going to have stuff on my website that actually supports those keywords. And there's nothing overly specific that you actually need to do differently just yet. This is a very fast evolving landscape, and those best practices are evolving every single time there's a new model that gets released, and they're releasing them yearly. So it's far more than it was like Google, but like back in like 2002. So like lots and lots of big sweeping changes every single release. It's good content, and then a consistent stream of it. So put this in perspective. I'm a restaurant. I want to release new content as much as I can. And that, I say content, doesn't mean just writing. So photos of our crab cakes. I want to have reviews about how good our dessert is. I want to talk about what hours we're open. I want to talk about our springtime March Madness specials. I want to talk about the best place to watch the game. Like, I want to talk about those things online. We're free at social media right now, but I want to actually bring that stuff to the forefront. And again, I'm picking on restaurants right now because there's a lot of searches that happen around them. So I want that content needs to be available online. What we want to avoid is what we see with tons of restaurants, and again, this is going to be for every industry, is someone did something up in Canva, and it's a nice little advertisement. It's like happy hour 4 to 6, and you can come watch whatever, and they take a photo of a photo. So now it's great. I've got a picture on the website, and there's no text. Now the stuff is getting fairly good in terms of like reading what's in the material, but I want that actually to be writing. I want a bot to come by from Google or from pick your AI model of choice, and they need to interpret that very, very well. So there's some big things that you can do there. So if you're doing any kind of events, if you're doing any kind of promotions, if you're doing anything like news related, there are specific tools that you can use that you already have access to. So in Google Business Profile, so like your formerly Google My Business, where like all of your company reviews are held, there is a spot where you can, it's under an update button. It's called update. And that'll be like an event or a promotion or a sale or something like that. Great. I want to go put that information, I want to tell the search engine about that, and it's going to get picked up by a bunch of other places. The other part of this is frequency. I want more frequency, and that's not AI slop. That's not like going through and getting ChatGPT to write you a bunch of blog articles that mean nothing to nobody. It's here's what I'm actually trying to achieve. It's what do my customers want? Oh, they want, so the one that would just happened is they wanted a good Irish pub for St. Paddy's Day, or where can I buy a Guinness or a Kilkenny? Great, so I need to go and tell people that we can do those things. Hey, we're serving green beer. I got to tell people that. I got to actually make sure that content's online for that promotion. So it's the same thing. Do I sell green socks for St. Paddy's Day, or am I doing something that is for the kids? I have to have all of that stuff online. I need to be on the next one, which will be Easter. That content needs to go online yesterday in order for someone to be able to find it and search it tomorrow. So that stream of content, what you should have is a content calendar. You should have a bunch of planning put in place going, hey, are we doing this thing that I know people are going to look for? So if we go back to the socks, great. Do I have any like purple Easter themed socks that are for sale? Great. Yes, no, maybe so. I need to make sure people, I need to put that out there. So AI is a little bit different. It'll pick up information from a variety of sources, and it doesn't really mind sharing. So it's going to steal from Instagram. It's going to try and take from wherever it can. Where Google's a little bit more selective, it's not going to tell you. The nice thing about AI is it's going to have a little reference link beside most of its, like, hey, it found this online from so-and-so, and it said something positive with the business, and there's a little link to it. So you can kind of do a little bit of fact checking, where it's like, hey, where does this stuff actually come from? So the more the better. So it would be really, really good for everyone. This is kind of just an exercise that everyone should do. If you've got a business and it's selling something to a more residential audience, an end user, I would go into ChatGPT or Grok, pick an AI, and I would ask it some questions about the products you sell and see what comes back. So it's like, great, does it know anything about your brand? What's the brand sentiment? I would go and investigate that a little bit, because you're gonna end up understanding what the model knows about you. At that point, you can kind of correct it and change it and go, oh wow, it's picking up that information from this source, I better go update that. The frequency is just like brushing your teeth. If I brush them once a month, but really good, my teeth are gonna fall out. This is a daily activity that I have to do. And this should be coming out of your marketing budget. Budgets are both time and money. So what is my marketing time budget? Let's just say it's 3 hours a week for marketing. That's my marketing budget a week. I need to use those 3 hours a week to produce content or to do some kind of advertising or sales related activity in your industry, in your brand, like specific to you, but I need to use that marketing time budget to go and do this stuff. Especially because you're operating an online store. If you operated an in-person convenience store and you're selling chocolate bars and chips and candy and the things that you're gonna sell at a convenience store, and great, less so. You're gonna have foot traffic, you're gonna have people just naturally driving by, you're gonna have regulars, you're gonna have things that are just based on there because it's convenient. Online, we get none of those. We get none. There is no drive-by traffic. There's nothing. We have to kind of fight. We have to fight for every viewer. Cool. You could absolutely make a suggestion on using AI, Dave. Absolutely. It's gotten a lot better in the last little bit. It used to be a little bit clunky, and the adoption wasn't there. But like now it is. It's not perfect. You still need to like question what it comes back. There's lots of you're gonna still read a news story every day about how they got it wrong. Absolutely, it's nowhere near perfect, but it is good. It is good. So if it's a tool that needs supervision, but it allows you to do things a little bit quicker, for sure. And then Dave, if you want to jump in with a comment there, you absolutely can. And I will move on to the next one. The next one is, okay. The next one is called Brand Identity and SEO as a Multifaceted Business. I run a product-based, this is Rock Burrell. I run a product-based business that sells products in multiple different categories. For example, we sell crystals, minerals, beads, and beading supplies. All three of these categories are wildly different audiences and a huge variety of associated keywords. Correct. I'm struggling with brand identity and optimizing SEO content keywords for one of these areas, much less all of them. Any advice? Okay, yeah. So Shopify put out some stuff. This is like a couple years ago now, but it's still absolutely true. The best stores that perform online have an extremely small catalog of products, and I believe it was like 12 or less. The stores that have 12 or less products outperform large inventory stores, right? Now, in your world, in this example, the part of your value is probably a wide selection of product, and that's just like a natural thing. My business partner, he had a family business, and they were selling piercing jewelry, and they had like thousands upon thousands of SKUs for different things, and it's a lot. And that's part of the necessary evil that comes with the industry that you work in. So great, you can do a few things. you need to focus on the top 10%. So if you've got 1,000 products, if you've ever heard of like the Pareto principle, 20% of your products are going to drive 80% of your revenue. And that's averaging. But I would be focusing on the things that are moving the needle. No website that has a large collection of products, this is impossible and there's diminishing returns, has great SEO across every single product line. Doesn't happen, even for the big players. It's very, very difficult. And they have big budgets, so like Walmart's got big budget, Amazon's got like essentially infinite money to attract a sale across every single product line they offer. You don't have that luxury. So I would want you to focus on, here's where I make my money, here's the things that I need to actually focus on, here's what my customers want, and that's it. And unfortunately, some things are going to get like not treated the same way because you'll run out of marketing budget. You're gonna run out of time working on things that are not moving the needle forward. And we only really wanna do that. So this is where I would identify, in your business, I would identify what the goals of each quarter would be. So like, hey, we're going into Q2, April to the end of June. What are our primary things that we normally sell from April to June? And it's these crystals and these minerals and those beads. Okay, great, because there's some seasonality to it, and I would only focus on those things as small as I can. And that's what I would do. And then I'm going to move on to the next set of goals, which would be, okay, now we're into like the summer months, July, August, September. Where am I focusing here over and over and over again? I can't focus store-wide with a large inventory store. So we can think about, there's like a hierarchy matrix, if you've ever heard that. There's 4 quadrants. It's like important and hard. It's like, there's essentially 4 quadrants. I want you to focus in the quadrant that only you can focus on. And do as little but high value stuff as you can, because spreading yourself too thin is not gonna work. You're just gonna get bad results over the whole thing. Brand identity is a separate issue. There's lots of stores, like every store that you've ever walked in, unless it's like the Apple store, right? They sell there's very few only 12 product physical stores out there. They might have shoes and purses and socks. They might have 12 collections of things, but in the real world, there's going to be more than just 12 things sitting on a shelf. Online, it just needs to be very clear what the brand is known for and what you do. So that's going to be your social media. That's going to be any email marketing. That's going to be like the events that you go to. So I would be focusing on that. If it's still too hard, let's just say it's too hard and it's not getting it and it's costing you money, you might need to break it up into multiple stores. And they're just 2 separate things. And if that's more work. But if that's required, that's required. Cool. Great. I'm gonna go back to 409 Dave. Get a paid account on AI, set up a persona, tell the AI that it's a guru in your niche. It's on that job, create the product for 20, 30 years. Once it's done, okay, yep. Yeah, essentially you're getting it to give you a second perspective. Definitely you're gonna learn something. Paid accounts aren't like crazy amounts of money. This isn't like an SEMrush account that's like $500 a month. This isn't Adobe. It's not $1,000 a year. Play with it for a month, turn it off. Yeah, no, definitely. It's a tool, right? It's a tool. It's not like you're trying to be an electrician and playing with live wiring. Spend the $20, learn a bunch, implement some things. Yeah, play around with it. Absolutely. Yeah, so that's definitely worth your while. I would definitely say that's a good idea. There's lots that can happen there. Again, take it with a grain of salt. It's not perfect. It lies to you all the time. So like big asterisk, big warning, it's not perfect. Yeah, give me a second. I will. My business partner hammers this point home all the time. Yeah. Yeah. I will I'm gonna see if I can get that article for you. London, yeah. We say that one all the time. So yeah, I will put that link. Up in the answers to this once it's over. So this is recorded. We clip it. We put the answers right back into the AMA. But I've just made note of getting you that article. Again, we kind of preach it, especially for like independent store owners that don't have big budgets. So I would rather you use that like time and money budget as effectively as possible rather than trying to say, hey, if my value is variety and my value is like the breadth of my product line, we're competing with Amazon. And that's very difficult to do. I need to be good at something. And they're good at that, and they're very good at that. So we don't necessarily want to go, oh yeah, like us having everything has been done. We don't want to have everything. We want to sell things to people that they like, but we have to have business goals, and the business goals shouldn't be stock more SKUs. That's gonna be a hard one to do. Right? If you have all the money and you've got a whole bunch of stuff and you are Walmart, they're good at that. They're very good at that. So like independent stores can't compete with that. So don't try. That's not added value. That's a very, very difficult game to play. The next question. Okay, the next question is called Maximizing SEO. Isabella, if you had to explain to someone in under a minute how to best optimize their SEO, what would you tell them? I would tell them to write and act like a human being was looking at your website. I would arrange the information in the order that it gets asked, so from highest priority to least priority. I would not bury all of the content into an FAQ because no one knows what a frequently asked question is. I'm just asking it for the first time. I'm going to answer the questions where they get asked, and that means I might have to repeat myself. I would label my images as I take them off my device. So I would replace the 101.jpg into girl holding red balloon at the fair .jpg. I would label my images. I would have video. I would have product video of my top 10% products around all of the common things on how to use the product, how to clean it, how to style it, how to do whatever. I would have a product video for my top 10% of products. My organization of the store would make sense and be very easy. I would use tagging collections to my advantage, so I would try and reduce the number of clicks it's required to get to where I want to go. I would have my mother or grandmother look at the store I would have the user, the person with the credit card, look at the store and have them go through it a few times. So like use some user testing and figure out where there are bottlenecks. I would look at my checkout process and make sure that makes sense so that I'm communicating shipping and coupons and things easily. I would name things with unbranded names. So the Big Mac only means hamburger because McDonald's spent $1 billion convincing us Big Mac meant hamburger. Small businesses shouldn't use branded names because there's no association. So I would call things as they are in layman's terms. I would look at my analytics on the regular. So I would have the Google suite of product installed on the store and be looking at that on a regular basis. I would look at my Google Search Console heavily in terms of what searches I'm actually appearing for and how much volume those are getting to see where my business goals and my audience goals, to see if those are aligned. It's probably more than a minute. That's where I would start. I would write more content. I would make questions scalable. So if a customer asks me something in a DM or on one-on-one, I would build a content piece around that so that other customers that have the same question but were too afraid to ask get that answer. I would start collecting email addresses as early as possible. I would get your local politicians and community leaders aware that you own a business in their community. I would be more, there you go. There's like the rattle off a whole whack ton there. And that all kind of feeds back to us. I would get both company and product level reviews. Every single time I ship something to a customer, I would include a coupon for a future purchase and a way for them to leave feedback, and I would teach them something on that card. I'd give them some amount of value. Doing like, if you like, again, restaurants do this really well. If you liked the lasagna, the next time you come, you have to try this because it's fantastic, because I know, and great, now I'm excited for the next thing. Cool. Better communication overall. Cool. Awesome. Next question. I did that one. Searchability and conversion. Let's do it. Okay. Searchability, the question title, searchability and conversion. What by Faye BCP. What's your approach to targeting keywords that bring in customers ready to buy? And how do you turn that traffic into actual products? So this is a fantastic question. This is very difficult. This is extremely difficult. This is like our job that we live day to day. And there's no clean answer. So what is your approach to targeting keywords that bring in customers ready to buy? Okay, first off, extremely difficult because no one is looking for like, here's a perfect example. Here's a perfect example of a search that almost always leads to a conversion, but it's highly competitive. Food near me. When I type into Google, food near me, it means two things to Google. This person's hungry and they want it now. Great. And all of the food places that are around my location, they're gonna go like, oh, there's a Wendy's and there's a grocery store and there's a thing and there's a thing and it's completely unspecified. But Google knows if I'm food near me, it's gonna say, great, this guy is looking for food, the closest we can get it. That's an unbranded search. It doesn't know if I want Mexican or Chinese or fish and chips, or it doesn't know what I want. But it's a restaurant should be bidding on that term because it's only targeting people near them that are hungry. Cool. So I'm never gonna be like in a different place going food near me and your ad's gonna show to me. It's just geolocated. Product sales, so like that don't require a service, are very difficult to get this perfectly right. So if you sell socks, I sell socks. We'll go back to the example before. I sell socks, and I need socks. It's not just like I'm browsing. I'm not on Pinterest looking for like sock ideas or crafting. I'm looking for a pair of dress socks, and I type in dress socks. Right, dress socks for wedding or whatever that search is. That does not mean I'm buying them. That does not mean I've got my wallet open, I've got my credit card ready, and like I'm going to make the purchase in one session. Very rare, this is very rare that someone sees something and they buy it with one touch point. Holy moly, it doesn't happen. Doesn't happen. They are going to look at, oh, I've got dress socks, and what is their screen gonna be filled with? Options of dress socks. They're gonna have the blue ones and the green ones and the black ones and the white ones and the tall ones and the small ones and the big ones. Yeah, great. They're gonna have a whole bunch of dress socks. And there's gonna be a whole bunch of brands. Great. And it still doesn't mean that someone's gonna buy. Typically, what we're looking for is a pattern of things that the person will do. And that is going to lead to a conversion. So multiple touch points. They saw an ad. And it's about dressing better, or there's a new line of dress socks, or they've got specific requirements around like they want wool or they want whatever it is. Cool, and now there's a pattern of things. That's what I'm looking for. So there is no one keyword that's gonna go, oh yeah. What you will have is when you do have a data set to work with, you will find that some keywords that are there, and it's just like a search is gonna be the best search. And you should know those like top 5 searches. Those top 5 searches that have a better conversion rate, And again, that's gonna be a mix of your Google Search Console, Google Analytics, and Shopify data. Like you're gonna have to merge those things together and you have to look for those things. You will find going, wow, those are the top 5 searches that have the highest conversion rate. Awesome. I'm gonna go and advertise against those terms. I'm not gonna even leave that to SEO. I'm gonna go actually do paid advertising against those because they have the highest, that's the bread and butter. I need to control those ones because those are the ones that convert the most. And maybe there's some seasonality, and maybe there's some timing, and maybe there's like some other things at play. The environmental factors, cool. But like I gotta go control those searches because they have the highest. It's normally not just a factor of one though. It's not just like, hey, that is the term that I must use. The rest of your question is how do I turn that traffic into actual product sales? That's your 4 Ps. That's your product market fit. Like the website has to look good. The picture quality has to be great. Like it has to look the part. People have to trust the brand. There's probably gonna have to be some reviews. Like the store is gonna have to do the job of selling still. It's gonna have to like explain why and the value and the shipping and all of those things. So that's a whole separate piece. That's like your CRO, conversion rate optimization. That's a whole separate piece. Before they're even on the site though, those keywords you should be looking at. You should be looking, like in terms of SEO, you should be looking at that Google Search Console data regularly. We call them, there are 2 sets of keywords that we typically like to track. Our targeted keywords, the things that we're actually trying to rank on an ongoing basis. Here's where our targets are. And then like global search terms. Where are we in the US or Canada, even though that we can't focus on all of it, but where are we ranking on a larger scale? And then locally going, great, food near me, where does my actual food near me rank? And I want to improve both, but one is kind of a gut check in terms of like global competition, going where are we globally or nationally? And then our track keywords are like best dress socks. Cool. I need to try and get up that, and that's going to be hard. But yeah, I'm 6'3", so like best dress socks for tall person. Like I have to find those search terms, and I have to try and control those. Cool. Very good question. The targeting those keywords is you can use a little bit of the AI stuff that like Dave recommended, which is totally fine. You can actually look that up. There's other tools like SEMrush and Screaming Frog, and there's like the SEO side of things where it's going to actually tell you here's where those popular search terms are, here's the competitors that you're actually competing against, where do you actually, great. That stuff costs some money. And again, those are longer term solutions. So there's like nothing quick in the SEO world. Next one is, okay, next question is greeting cards versus the specific type of card. Okay, for SEO, so this is from Lauren 2 Merchant. For SEO, handle titles, SEO meta descriptions, etc., is it important to include the umbrella term greeting card, or is the specific more important? Birthday card, sympathy card, etc., or both things? Okay. Great question. This is goes back to the Amazon versus Google stuff. In Amazon, you're gonna have greeting card that is also birthday and sympathy and the thing. It's the titles can be huge. Really, it's I need to use the terms that my customers are using. They are putting things in search. Are they looking for just a card, or are they looking for a birthday card? If they're looking for a birthday card, I'm probably going on my website, I'm probably going to have a collection of birthday cards, and it's probably going to say birthday cards for him or her, and then there's going to be for the 5th birthday and the 6th birthday and the 70th birthday. Great. Birthday cards for him and her and all of that. Cool, but it's a birthday card. And if I sort that the same way they sort them in the store, so if I was going to go to the store and there's a wall of birthday cards and they categorize them for anniversary and birthday and condolences and all of the things, great. And underneath them, they're all cards. So if I go to the grocery store, it's going to say greeting card, or it's going to say cards, stationery at the top. And I'm going to go to the stationery section. I'll walk over to that section, and there's going to have pens and paper and all of the things. And then there's going to be a section of cards. And then under the cards, there can be specific types of cards. That's the way you need to sort them. People do look for generic blank cards. There is. Cool. When people are searching for not a generic card, then a blank, they normally have a prefix or a suffix with it. So birthday card. I'm looking for a birthday cake. Not just a cake, I'm looking for a birthday cake. The same thing with cards. So I want to have that. So if my SEO handle, titles, meta description, everything, the images for the card, yeah, they should be as specific as you can get. The more specific you go, the higher likelihood of actually ranking for that search term. Cool. It's going to be a better user experience for the customer because they're going to find that product faster. They don't want to search through 5,000 things that aren't related to their search. But typically, the more specific you get, the audience size goes down, which is, I think, is fine. I don't want a bunch of like random people that are like meandering through the store. I like people that know what they're looking for so I can serve them. That would be great. So the more specific you get, the better it is. The umbrellas are going to be further up that URL chain. So you might have like a section for greeting cards, and then those greeting cards could be like new home, whatever it is. But yeah, typically people are making, this is where things get a little bit different. They're going to make the search they know how to make. Someone is the user, to their level of education and their skill and their knowledge, product knowledge, is going to make the best search they know how to make because they understand where they want to go. They might not use the right words, but they understand what they need. And this is more so in like the medical field. I've got back pain. How do I alleviate back pain? They don't know that the back pain is caused because something's wrong with my leg. They know the symptoms. I don't feel good. My back hurts, or I've got an earache, but they don't know the right search to make other than how they feel. The same thing is for this. They know they know that their friends just had a baby. So let's find a baby card. That's all they're gonna know. Great, I need to show up to the baby shower with a card that is appropriate for the occasion, and that's all they will know. So you have to meet the customer where they are. And that's writing for a human being. That's like, here's why we do what we do. Cool. For search terms, the keywords, etc. Ask is why, though, the product is not selling is pretty rough. Yeah. Good question, though. Greeting cards versus the specific type of card. I'm going to call out the specific type. People are looking for the same thing. If I'm looking for, there's a big difference between food near me and like Chinese food Guelph. When I type in Chinese food Guelph, it's like 3 restaurants that pop up. And one of them isn't Wendy's. It's 3 Chinese food restaurants. The more specific I get, the less competition there is. It knows where I want to go. So if I type in birthday card, I'm probably only going to see birthday cards. And I want to be able to compete at that level. Cool. The next question. Algorithm changes in AI search optimization. Lovely. Seems like things are changing very fast now. Can you speak generally about algorithm changes and AI search optimization? So yes, we can chat about that. Also, there seems to have been a switch lately about including your company name in your SEO title. Yes. Title, what best to do, include company or not. Yeah, absolutely. So this is like age old. So we're gonna answer your second question first. Yeah, you absolutely should have your company, like your company name is one of like the best ranking factors you've got, because like there shouldn't be a whole bunch of other people with your company name, because you should control that. So yeah, that's gonna be huge, especially when people know your name. Those searches are gonna be easier to control. So if I've got product that's already associated with that, cool. In your Google business profile, under your business description, you should have that. You should be telling the search engine and AI your business name a whole bunch of times. In all of your photography, it should be like red dress socks made of silk by 2H Media. And now I'm tying, so cool, I can do that. So yeah, I would definitely have that. I don't need to sprinkle the business name on every single page of the site. I don't need to put like all of that stuff. I don't need to read the business name 4,000 times. The business name needs to go where the business name should go, which is cool. If you are a reseller of product, this is where things get different. So if you're a drop shipper and your main function is logistics, it's speed and price, and you don't actually make the product itself, you're going to have bigger problems. So like you're selling like water bottles to companies for promotional purposes, it's going to be hard to do because like that same water bottle is on 4,000 other sites. We have not created a competitive advantage. That's going to be more challenging. SEO and drop shipping is very, very difficult. Things are changing very quickly. We don't have any I don't have a backdoor into Google's offices. I don't get to see what OpenAI is doing. I have no insight into how Twitter's changing Grok. We don't. 99% of agencies don't have a backdoor into Google. So we get the updates when you get the updates. And the goal is to just follow best practices. Again, it's their bat, it's their ball, it's their field. They are the biggest dogs on the planet. We can't do anything with that. So we have to try and keep up. Again, we talk back to that marketing budget. Most business owners should spend absolutely no time worried about what the platform is doing, and they should be worried about what their customers want. Fish where the fish are. So what are they searching for? Where are they spending their money? What trends do they follow? What media sources do they look at? Where do they spend their leisure time? That's what I would be caring about, because I can control that more than I can control Google. If I have a better relationship with my potential customers, that will pay off in dividends over and over and over and over and over again. So can I talk to 10 customers every day? 10 customers or 10 potential customers every day? I would be focusing on that far more than I'd be focusing on changes to AI or search engine updates or anything like that. I'd be focusing on all of those customer related things, because you can control that. I can reach out to people. I can get into someone's DM. I can have action items there. Everything with search is retroactive. Getting ahead of it, you're throwing darts at a dartboard. It's a waste of time. They could make a change, and in 2 weeks they could make another change. You play to the beat of their drum. That's okay. That's just a limiting factor that we have in the world of technology, and that's totally fine. So again, the best practices are treat everyone like they're a human online. Make it good to read. Make it informative. Have a call to action or next steps at every step. Write in with some kind of priority. Learn to write. AI can help you write, but you still need to actually be a good communicator. And if you own a store, unfortunately, you're in sales. So you're going to have to be a good communicator. Cool. Algorithm changes are announced. So if you were to go into your Google Search Console, it'll actually show you if there are big updates that are coming. They typically put out, I'm talking about YouTube, Google, I'm talking about the big guys. They normally will address like what changes have been made. An algorithm is weighted. So not every single ranking factor has the same importance. So like some things, again, the age of your domain is very important. You can't change that. It's got a lot of weighting because it's one way that it prevents a lot of fraud. There are other smaller rankings that are differently weighted. So you can only do what you can do. Let's go back. Is there more questions? I think there is. I thought there was one around. Give me a minute. I think, if I'm reading this correctly, those are the ones that are in the AMA, which is fantastic. We're at that hour mark. Does anyone have any other questions around any of the other cool topics? And that's totally fine if you don't. If you do have questions, you can throw them in chat as well. That's totally fine. Yeah, that's one of the big things that you'll end up discovering is talk to your customers more. You're an online store, that's great. You're probably small. It's probably you're not doing $10 million worth of revenue a year. It's like your marketing budget and your marketing capabilities have to be that at such a level that you can do it yourself, without relying on like getting access to the national television and a big ads budget. You have to go, and you're gonna have to figure out all of those things before that comes anyways. So the more you talk to a potential customer, the more you're gonna understand their challenges, what they're looking for, what's worked for them in the past, why they decided to choose you now. Great, like you're gonna learn so much that you can actually implement long before you actually need like a healthy money portion of a marketing budget. Cool. Any other questions at all? Does anyone want to ask anything else? Cool. 2 products that are similar but can't be under the same SKU as a different size or option or color. They need the same SEO keywords. How do they? Okay, cool. So let's just say this happens all the time. Okay, 2 products that are the same, but so Dave, I can answer this question. 2 products that are the same, but can't be under the same SKU as their different size. So let's just say I've got 2 t-shirts, and one is a large and one is a small, and they're the same t-shirt, and it's or even if they're different t-shirts, and one of them is green and one of them is blue, and one of them has a slogan on it and the other one has a brand logo on it. Cool. There's gonna be a lot of duplicate content, a lot of it. The materials are probably the same. Whatever sizing it's gonna follow is the same. The manufacturer is probably going to be the same. The images are probably going to be in the same style. We don't necessarily need to differentiate crazy at that point. We need to say, great, this is what it is. So try to treat that as if I was explaining what this product, the difference is in those 2 products to a blind person. There's going to be 99% of them are going to be the same, and the 1% is going to be different. So what are the differences? Call those out. We're not competing. We're competing against our competitors. We're not competing against ourselves. So if I've got 2 products that are similar but different, great. I just list the facts the way they are. That's it. Your own store is not going to cannibalize off itself. Great. You're going to be perfectly fine. So again, if I've got 2 products and they're very similar, and one's the large t-shirt, one's the small t-shirt, you're probably not even going to notice a difference in anything. You're going to see that one size is going to be the best seller because great, and your common sizes are going to sell first. That's going to be true of every store, but we don't have to worry about cannibalizing our own stuff. At that point, we're too in the weeds, especially for a small business. We will not see a return, an ROI, on trying to optimize 2 similar products against each other. Do not, nope, not at all. No, that's every store. That's every store. So I'm gonna have the sweaters and this and that, the other thing, and most of the content's gonna stay the same. And the title of the product will be different. Like, great, this is my PlayStation t-shirt versus my Nintendo t-shirt, and there's a graphic on each of them. But again, 99% of the stuff is the same. Now you're fine. Doolittle Girl, I recently heard that handles are not really used. Is that true? Handles as in like hashtags? Give me a second. Also, should handles read like human speak or machine speak? Should it be like birthday card named of card, name of birthday card? Oh, so okay, should the company name be in the handle? Yes, I just answered all these questions in previous. The slugs. The slugs, so when you create a product on Shopify, that it naturally creates the slug for you. You can change it, but your slug the order of the slug isn't going to matter too much. I put this in earlier. You're going to follow this to a T. This is what you're going to do. Where did I have it? I had it up here. I'm gonna put it back in. This would be the one. This is what you're gonna follow. Oh, man. Give me a second. Give me a second. Give me a second. See if I can. Yeah. Put this in. There it is. I just put it in there. I just cleaned up that URL for you. SEMrush, we trust them. We've been a commercial provider for them for a little while. What is a URL? That was updated back in July last year. It's not terribly old. 8-minute read. This is the actual structure that you should follow. Great. That's coming from like all of the data they collect across all of their stuff. Great. I would be putting that in. Just follow the guide. That is what an agency will do. They are going to follow the best practices. That's all we can do. We can get, like, when it comes to this is where things get a little bit weird. There's like, you know, the hacky stuff. The hacky stuff, you can hack a person a lot easier than you can hack like the algorithm. We don't try. We just try to know the customers better. What are they going to search for? What do they value? What do they not value? What do they want to see? I want to go and play. There's a book. I'll put it on screen. It's called Influence. Influence. I keep it by my desk. I have a bookcase here. Influence. We have no relation to this at all. Influence. Psychology of persuasion. That's how you essentially like get someone to buy something. I can use human psychology to influence a pattern. There was a study done, I think it was in the 60s or 70s, and they were trying to figure out, scientists back then were trying to figure out how the human brain worked, and they ran an experiment around, can I influence behavior from text or speech? How do I do that? And the experiment was fairly easy. We had 3 groups of people, really 2 in a control group. The control group walked down a hallway, and they measured the speed of the control group with no prompts. This is again in the 60s. And they said, okay, great, walking down the hallway, the average walk and all of that stuff, they got a baseline for time. Test group 1 was given a cue card to read as they walked down the hallway, and it had words on it like fast, agile, rapid, rush. They had words that when they read them, it influenced their behavior. And those people walked faster than baseline. And subversely, test group 2 was given a cue card, and it was like fragile and slow and delicate, and those words influenced those individuals to walk slower than baseline. Just naturally, just great, I'm gonna give you a cue card, you're gonna read it, you're gonna walk down the hallway, we're gonna measure your speed. And the control group was given a cue card, and it had nothing to do with those words at all. It was like, they still had to read something instead, they still had to focus. So great, I can influence the behavior of someone by essentially what they called social priming. That is social priming. I can get them to do something from just better communication. So your website should be able to do that. So a perfect example where we could all be a little bit better. We all said, you'll probably read this 3 times a day. Leave us a review. Cool. If I told you to paint me a picture, I do not know what I'm going to get back. If I changed my words to draw me a black cat, you all are going to draw a black cat. They're going to be varying levels of quality, but they're all going to be of a black cat. Great. I want to say, tell us how we did with our XYZ. And now it's going to prime someone to leave a review specifically talking about the thing I want them to talk about. If I leave the door open, it's harder to do. So that social priming happens all over the place. You can call them a call to action, but I want to get someone to the next step in a predictable pathway. Cool? Right on. Any other questions? Any other questions? If not, That's okay. This was a very, very good session. I mentioned again, if you do want to connect with me on LinkedIn, I don't mind that. I have lots of good conversations on there. If not, you want to follow us on Twitch. We stream a little bit, mostly with Shopify. If you have questions for the next, if you want to share topics with what you'd like to us to talk about in the future, I am all ears. I'll throw my email and my contact information in the chat again if you want to reach out to me. That is super sweet. And my email. Great. We do quite a bit of SEO. We sell SEO. We have a wide variety of customers across a variety of industries that we provide SEO for. There are things that you should be doing in-house yourself that like an agency shouldn't be doing for you, like your Google business profile. You should be doing all of like the communications around like your sales and things like that. There are things that are a little bit more technical that we handle all the time, like Google Merchant Center, Google Shopping, getting like your product feeds in and actually advertising those feeds. The analytics is very important, so where you should be spending your money, where's all the things being wasted. We do a ton of that. And then essentially dialing back, like peeling back the onion in terms of where the business should actually focus in terms of the opportunities that they have. So if you don't have a clear understanding of where your business is currently going, here's where the searches are, here's where the fish are, and your business is nowhere near them. If you don't understand like what your customers are searching for now and where you appear in relationship to those things, that would be the first starting point in SEO. What are the searches that are happening related to me? Where do I appear in relationship to those searches? And we have to start getting your brand into that available pool of inventory. So we call that inventory. How many searches are actually happening a day for things related to you? There's only so many. That is the max amount of inventory that you can actually get. We want you in that pool of inventory. Cool. So if you have questions, and if you want to have things on a personal note and not share in public, that's totally fine. I totally get that. Yes, there is a recording of this call. So you're going to give me like a day or so. We take this video and we chop it up and we put all of the answers that I just put back into the AMA. So under each one of the questions, you'll end up seeing a written response as well as a link to YouTube. And it's gonna be like, hey, and it'll be embedded on the actual Shopify page, but essentially there'll be a video specific to each question that makes it really, really easy for you to find. So yes, there will be, you can find the whole thing will be available, and then question specific will be available too, and it'll just be time stamped out based on the question and the answer. Cool. So yes, long answer and short answer is yes. Right on. 12:13. I'll give it a couple more minutes. We don't have any other questions. We will call break there. Otherwise, absolutely, thank you. Do a little go. Yeah, this is, it's always my pleasure. This is fun. We used to do this pre-COVID. We used to actually go into the Shopify offices in, well, a bunch of places, but primarily Waterloo, and there would be in-person workshops back when there was a whole other subset of resources for Shopify. I think it was called Shopify Local at that time, and it was really fun and cool. And now it's all online, which is equally cool. And you can ask questions from all over the world, and you could be joining us in your pajamas, and that's wonderful as well. Okay, let's call it there. No other questions. Thank you all so much. I hope you have a great rest of your Tuesday. We will be back next month. Give me a second. Next month, April 21st at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are going to be talking about how to actually use some data to market smarter. That's the topic. It'll be out in the same place. You're going to get, it's the same process. We're going to be back here with me. Again, if you have topics that you want us to cover in the future, I am all ears. I definitely want to understand what you guys need help with, because we will bring some attention to that. Otherwise, thank you so much. I will see all of you very soon.